The idea of equality in relationships is a hotly debated topic in today's society, and for good reason. While many women strive for equality in all aspects of their lives, including their romantic relationships, there seems to be a contradiction when it comes to the topic of finances. On the one hand, women want to be viewed as equals and demand equal treatment in all areas of life, including the workplace. They seek to close the gender pay gap and achieve financial independence. However, when it comes to romantic relationships, some women still seem to want traditional gender roles to apply. They seek a partner who is more masculine and dominant, and who earns more money than they do. This contradiction is confusing as it suggests that women want both equality and traditional gender roles. Women who seek a partner who earns significantly more than they do are essentially negating their own push for equality. By placing such importance on their partner's income, they are implying that their own financial success is not enough and that they need a man to provide for them. The notion of gender roles in relationships is a complex issue, with many contradictions and misconceptions. For instance, some people question whether women would truly want a man who is equally feminine as them. When women are asked if they would like a man who is equally feminine, the answer is often no. The truth is, many women still prefer men who exhibit traditional masculine traits, including being more assertive and dominant, even if they are striving for equality. This contradiction is often overlooked, but it speaks to the deep-seated societal beliefs about gender roles that still exist today. While some women might want a man who is equal in all aspects, including their femininity, they are often still attracted to traditional gender roles and the societal expectations placed on them. One of the main reasons that women say they are single is because there are not enough educated men that are on an equal intellectual level as women. Some of these women also will complain about a lack in financial stability from men, but this becomes oxymoronic. Between 1950 and 1990, there has been a loss of historical context regarding women's education and financial progress. Despite women consistently outpacing men in college enrollment and completion rates, there has been a false narrative that links women's lack of financial progress to their level of college education. However, it is important to note that men with college degrees often make more money due to their choice of major or field of study, while women are more likely to choose degrees associated with lower paying jobs. This contradicts the notion that having a college degree is a standard for women to enter into a relationship, especially if the man in question does not have a degree but has a higher earning potential through trade school or other means. In today's society, there is more emphasis on a man's job or occupation as a marker of social status, rather than their ability to be self-sufficient and have a steady income. This may lead to a preference for men with degrees, despite their potential for lower earning potential, over men who have tangible and functional skills. Let's look with more detail about the history of marriage. The current explanation for why there are fewer marriages today, particularly among men and women, is attributed to the scarcity of qualified partners or the prevalence of toxic masculinity. However, there has been no conclusive study that compares the relationship between marriage and education from 1930 to the present day. Despite the common belief that higher education leads to more marriages, the data shows otherwise. In the 1960s, only a small percentage of Americans had completed college or high school, yet marriage rates between black and white Americans were significantly higher, particularly among black women with lower education attainment. However, since the 1990s, the trend has shifted. There are more white women that are married than black women, which was the opposite up until 1970, meaning from 1930 to 1970 African Americans had a higher rate of marriage than Caucasian Americans. The data shows that more education has always corresponded to fewer marriages. In 1958, 8% of Americans went to school and 90% white and black Americans were married. Now 33% of all Americans have earned degrees, and divorce has also dropped by 30 to 40%. One can make the argument that for every percent of educated American that is added to the population, 1% or more of the marriage population is decreased. There are statistical trends suggesting a negative correlation between the increase in the percentage of educated individuals in the American population and the decrease in divorce rates. However, it is worth noting that children tend to perform better when raised in a two-parent or married household. While individual educational achievements may lead to personal success, the prevalence of single-parent households may negatively impact the well-being of American children, as evidenced by high rates of childhood obesity, homelessness, and truancy. Contrary to popular rhetoric, historical evidence suggests that prosperous marriages existed under different societal norms, which differed from contemporary perceptions of marriage. We previously discussed the educational standards that women prioritize in potential partners. If you dive deeper to the specifics of what they're looking for in education, you'll see things such as being against Trump, pro-choice, supportive of vaccine mandates, and rejecting traditional gender norms. However, men who meet these standards are often viewed as platonic friends rather than romantic interests. On the topic of preferences, height appears to carry more weight than wealth during initial assessments. This is an objective observation based on available data and social media discussions about partner preferences. There exists a double standard regarding the dating preferences of short men and educated women. While educated women are more likely to form relationships with taller men who are less educated and close in age, short men are often seen as compensating for their height by dating younger and less educated women. However, the reality is that both short men and educated women may choose to date partners who are less educated or younger than themselves. Despite this, short men are often criticized, while educated women are often viewed as victims of a shortage of qualified partners. It is true that many women prefer taller partners, but research indicates that women who marry taller men are more likely to experience divorce. In contrast, shorter men tend to marry later in life but have a higher likelihood of staying married. The topic of equality in relationships is complex and often contradicts societal expectations and beliefs about gender roles. Women strive for equality in all aspects of their lives, including the workplace and finances, but some still seek traditional gender roles in their romantic relationships. This contradiction may stem from deep-seated societal beliefs about gender roles that still exist today. There is a misconception that women's lack of financial progress is linked to their level of college education, but men with college degrees often make more money due to their choice of major or field of study. Additionally, there is more emphasis on a man's job or occupation as a marker of social status, which may lead to a preference for men with degrees, despite the fact that those men have lower earning potential due to lack of work experience and high student loan debt. Historically, there has been a shift in the relationship between marriage and education, with more education corresponding to fewer marriages. This became pronounced in the 1990s. While preferences such as height and education play a role in partner selection, it is important to recognize that both short men and educated women may choose to date partners who are less educated or younger than themselves. In conclusion, the topic of equality in relationships requires a nuanced understanding of societal expectations and beliefs about gender roles, as well as individual preferences and choices. It is important to recognize and challenge the contradictions and misconceptions that exist in order to strive towards true equality in all aspects of life. Works cited: Ossola, Alexandra. The height difference between these 15 celebrity couples. Business Insider, Insider Inc., the 5th of April 2018, www.businessinsider.com/height-difference-in-couples-what-is-best-2018-4-2. Study finds link between height and marital success. The Law Offices of Matthew T. Marin, ESQ. The 2nd of February 2022, mountaoffice.com/news/study-finds-link-between-height-and-marital-success. Young, Emma. Short women more successful with men. New Scientist, the 14th of August, 2002, web links. Cox, D. 2023, February 20th. The College Dating Divide, Institute for Family Studies. Retrieved from web links.